the busiest I've ever been at the end of a year. What do you guys think for New Year's? Usually I'm the person that always has like something planned for the end of the year. I am not going out aggressively this year, so I'm gonna have to live through y'all's experiences. So let me know what you up to. Welcome to day 30 of the December synastry challenge. The last 2 days of the December synastry challenge. Today we're talking about Venus in the 11th house. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna do Venus in the 9th house. And then once we get into January, I'm gonna still continue with the Venus series. And I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of other astrology type videos and see what y'all think. But let me not get too ahead of myself. We're focusing on the present moment. And the present moment is Venus in the 11th house overlay. This is honestly one of the most easygoing overlays. Venus overlays and just any synastry overlay in general. It really is giving like Meredith Grey, Christina Yang friendship, where, you know, they each have their own quirks. They're kind of looked at in society in different ways, but in each of their ways, they're both kind of ostracized from the normal subset of people that exist within society. So like, by the off chance that you don't watch Grey's Anatomy, spoilers! Meredith Grey is ostracized because she's working at a hospital that her name is planted on. So she's kind of like a legacy. And legacies are kind of in this little 3% corner of their own, right? And then Christina Yang is just, she's blunt. And she only cares about her work. And that puts her in like a 4% type of people. Society's norm is people who will do a 9 to 5 and then go out to the bar laces to socialize and then go home and watch Netflix. And if you kind of stray out of that, then you're kind of like put into these select groups where you're like observed and studied. But anyways, both of the people in this overlay know what it's like to be kind of like removed from society but still have to be a part of it. So they form a really tight bond here, tight friendship. You know, it's the 11th house. We're always talking about friendship with the 11th house. And with Venus here, there's no doubt that it's gonna be romantic. But it's usually the house person that's bringing the Venus person in to their friend group. I feel like over the course of the relationship, you guys will eventually turn into one big friend group. But initially, the house person, they just find the Venus person so cool immediately that they're like, I have to let my tribe know about you. So they go around, they do those introductions. And before you know it, every time the Venus person hangs out with the house person, it's like, you're not really just hanging out with the house person, you're hanging out with them plus 3. And this one, it does feel kind of like you're not just dating them, you're dating their friends, because their friends are so involved in every aspect of their lives. They work with their friends, they live near their friends, they go to school with their friends. You can't not escape their friends. But in this one, you like them, you know. In the Mars in the 11th house overlay, there's a little bit of friction. But in this one, it's like, your friends are my friends. We're all one big happy family. It's funny because usually once the Venus person starts to get all this buzz by the house person, everyone else starts to also recognize the Venus person. Even people that like thought they were uncool before suddenly now want to get to know them. And it's not necessarily that the house person has influence or is popular, because, you know, they're just as ostracized as well. But perhaps maybe they're in a different advantage to where people have to listen to them or have to pretend that they like them. Or it's just the energy of like people noticing you is starting to change your energetic signature, and therefore you're now attracting different energy towards you. Don't be fooled by the 11th house. There's a lot of alchemy going on here. But, you know, usually most of the people that try to weasel their way back into the Venus person's life is no good, you know, so I've left that alone. So yeah, these are people that just don't follow the social norms. They're a rebel to the cause, you know, they're doing their own thing, paving their own path, and they love it. And this also bleeds into relationship dynamics. So this is an overlay where you could have like a polygamous relationship, an open relationship of some form. You know, you might be a little experimental in the bedroom, a little third party action. And, you know, it does get a bit queer in the 11th house. And at the very least, you know, bi-curious fantasies. These people are not used to having the spotlight on them, but they are by no means shy. You know, I'd say like this one is quite sexual as well. Sometimes like a degree of level of openness is just a turn on. Like there's a lot of allowance here to evolve into your own person, your own being, and that freedom is a huge turn on in this overlay. It's easy to see that you guys just have like good, pure, true intentions as a human being. These are the kind of people to read the rules of a board game before playing and making sure that everybody adheres to the rules. Sometimes they may come off like antisocial or like a tough guy, but that's just because, you know, they've had to build this defense from being essentially cast out by society. So they gotta vet you, but once you're vetted and you're in, you're here to stay. This is a lifelong friendship, even if things kind of go sideways in the romantic relationship, and that's always going to be due to other placements. It's never going to be due to this overlay. This overlay is giving no problems, which like some people, believe it or not, complain about, because that means also it's not giving like really additional spice. But I would argue that and say if you've watched Sense8 on Netflix, you've seen that scene where they're all combining together. If you know the scene, you know the scene. I'm not gonna say anymore. You know, there's certain levels, there's different types of spice, different types of passion. Everyone wants the 8th house and the 12th house, but the 11th house, it's giving all pros, no cons. Why not? Why wouldn't you? But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for that one. We'll finish out the challenge tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, eventually we're gonna go into synastry aspects along with a couple other fun videos, okay? As always, thanks for being here and catch you on the flip side.